Make sure after watching this video, you guys go in the description box down below. If you're a Fortnite head, 2K head, or just a gamer in general, they have the best accounts down there. Make sure you guys buy some accounts. And you guys, please, do not think it's a scam. It is 100% legit. I've tried it myself, so make sure you guys do that after watching this video.
My bitch drive a all white rank. Couldn't hit it if you niggas had ain't. Lanes can't call and you lame. You had it and you lost it, all the shame. I can buy a Billy, don't talk to me. For a show 150, don't talk to me.
The narrative for Kevin Durant this season has been up and down so many times that it is crazy. Whether it's his free agency decision coming up this offseason, or whether it's the fact that he could have 3 straight championships in a row with 3 straight finals MVPs, or whether it's the best player in the league conversation and if he is the best player in the NBA. But I think the latter part of that statement was definitely being answered this postseason, as Kevin Durant was having one of the greatest runs in NBA history. As in the 11 games that he played in the postseason, he averaged 34 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds, as well as a steal and a block, while shooting 51% from the field, around 42% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. The guy was going out there and playing elite on both sides of the ball, and if he had kept that up, let's be honest, let's just keep it 100, Kevin Durant would have gotten his 3rd straight finals MVP this year. Let's just be honest, this series would probably be down 3-0 because Kevin Durant was just on a mission to prove that he was the best player in the NBA, and a lot of people were calling him the best player in the NBA. I mean, the guy is literally doing everything that you can ask from your best player and from your superstar, and that is the face of the franchise. I mean, the guy was going out there, and whether it was scoring, rebounds, assists, defense, he was doing everything that you wanted from your best player, and he was getting the job done. But the basketball gods decided to say fuck you, and something happened to his calf that we really don't know. Could be an Achilles injury of some kind, but at the end of the day, we don't know if Kevin Durant is going to be coming back for the remainder of the postseason. And the NBA Finals is right now, and the Golden State Warriors are down 2-1. But the narrative of the Golden State Warriors and Kevin Durant has been shifting so many times that I decided that I would talk about it. Because you see, before KD got hurt, the narrative of everything surrounding him and the Golden State Warriors was so different, especially when you consider what it is now going into the NBA Finals, and now the Golden State Warriors are down 2-1 in the series. Because the narrative before was that Kevin Durant's the best player in the league, and he's about to win his 3rd straight Finals MVP and 3rd straight championship, something that even LeBron James couldn't do when he was in Miami. But now the narrative is that the Golden State Warriors don't need Kevin Durant to win a championship. Just look at what they did to Portland. Now, in my opinion, I believe that argument is pretty flawed because Portland is a very basic team. They're very predictable. Damian Lillard doesn't even know what to do when you double team him. And they've played the Portland Trail Blazers so many times in the postseason that it's very easy for them to go up against a team that they're so familiar with. And they've beaten that team even before Kevin Durant got there. So I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal that they beat Portland. Let's just keep it real there. And secondly, when you look at what's happening in the NBA Finals right now, they need an immediate answer for Kawhi Leonard. Now, when it comes to Kevin Durant's legacy, I'm going to keep it real with you. Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA. But if the Golden State Warriors were to win a championship this year, a lot of people would put asterisks on those 2 championships. Now, me personally, I'm not going to put asterisks behind anybody's championships or anybody's accomplishments, because regardless, they go out there and they still have to show up and get those championships. For example, people can put asterisks behind Steve Nash's MVPs all they like. Regardless, he had MVP caliber years, and whether you disagree, you can't sit there and take away what he accomplished during that season. Same thing goes for Kevin Durant and the Finals MVPs and the championships that he's accumulated over his time in Golden State. Regardless of what you may think about that, you can't take it away. I mean, the guy went out there in both finals and averaged over 30 plus, played elite level on both sides of the ball, and whenever guys like Draymond, Steph, and Clay didn't show up, who was the guy that showed up and made the big shots that sealed the deal for the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA Finals, even though we all knew it was never in doubt? But that was always Kevin Durant. So I definitely think that Kevin Durant, you can't take away what he has done over the past 3 seasons in Golden State. Now, can you look at those championships a little funny? Sure, I definitely think you can do that, because if they win the finals this year, it just shows how great of a team they are without Kevin Durant. And sorry, but validation is something that Kevin Durant has been seeking over the past 3 years, because I honestly think the reason he went to Golden State is so he could prove on the best stage of them all that he's better than LeBron James. Because the thing about Kevin Durant, he was viewed usually as the second best player in the league until a little guy known as Steph Curry came around, and a lot of people were even saying Steph was the best player over LeBron. They were not only skipping KD, they were skipping over LeBron. So what does KD decide to do? He goes to join that team and prove that he is not only the best player on that team, but that he's the best player in the league. But going back to the legacy thing with Kevin Durant, regardless of who wins the NBA Finals, whether it's the Raptors or the Golden State Warriors, I definitely think that Kevin Durant's legacy is still what it is. He's still one of the best 15 to 20 players in the history of the game, potentially could end his career top 10 and maybe even top 5 and put himself in the conversation for the greatest player in the history of the NBA. But when you look at what Kevin Durant has done this year and what he did in the playoffs, it will definitely hurt his legacy, and it will take a hit if the Golden State Warriors can win the championship without him. I mean, look at the Toronto Raptors. They're a really solid team. Marc Gasol's a really solid player. Kawhi Leonard, obviously viewed, in my opinion, as the best player in the world. You also have Kyle Lowry, who has been stepping up in this series. You also have players such as Serge Ibaka, who was a beast when it came to protecting the rim in Game 3, and other players have stepped up such as Danny Green and Fred VanVleet. So I definitely think that when you look at the Raptors team, they are a great team and arguably the second best team in the league. And for the Golden State Warriors to win the finals and beat that team, especially if it doesn't go to 7 games, how can you say Kevin Durant's legacy doesn't take a hit in that situation? I mean, think about it. There has never been an all-time great player that if they were not playing and they were injured, their legacy didn't take a hit. And sure, the closest thing you can say to this is probably Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson's rookie year, as when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar missed the closeout game, Magic Johnson was sensational, but I think that was more Magic Johnson being great because a lot of people didn't even expect that from him, than more Kareem Abdul-Jabbar being out and the Lakers being better without him, because no one in their right mind would say the Showtime Lakers were better without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And honestly, that's not even the greatest comparison. It's just the closest comparison I can think of because it's the NBA Finals and the best player presumably on that team didn't play. So I definitely think that when you look at Kevin Durant's legacy, how can it not take a hit if he doesn't play in the series and his team beats the other team, who in my opinion is the second best team in the game of basketball today? So honestly, regardless of what you may say about Kevin Durant, validation is what he went to Golden State to get. And if the Golden State Warriors can win the championship and he's not even playing on the court, not only do I think Kevin Durant is definitely out of Golden State, but he needs to win a championship the year that he leaves Golden State. If not, Kevin Durant's legacy is definitely going to be put with a bunch of asterisks, and he is never going to be viewed on the level of players like a Magic Johnson or a Michael Jordan or even a LeBron James. Kevin Durant's legacy is not only on the line in this final series, but if things go down to where Golden State wins, he needs to win the next year, and his legacy will be on the line throughout the entire season. But if they lose, I'm just going to present this solution for Kevin Durant. You better stay in Golden State. I'm just going to keep it real with you. If the Golden State Warriors can't beat the Toronto Raptors, why would you leave that scenario? I mean, think about it. Because if you stay, they're definitely going to win the championship next year. I don't see a team that's going to beat this Golden State Warriors team if Kevin Durant elects to stay in Golden State. And if he had played in that series, and let's say Golden State loses in 7 or 6, are you trying to tell me that Kevin Durant on that team, they wouldn't have won that series, especially if they lose in 7? So Kevin Durant right now, I know he wants his team to win on the outside, but I know deep down on the inside, especially with him arguing with fans on Instagram and talking to Chris Broussard on Twitter, he definitely wants them to struggle and at least go to 7 games with the Toronto Raptors and maybe even lose to the Toronto Raptors. Because if the Golden State Warriors actually defeat the Toronto Raptors in the NBA Finals, especially if they do it in 6 games, it will only validate all of the haters and the naysayers about Kevin Durant, because it will prove what they've been saying all along, that they didn't need Kevin Durant to win a championship, and those last 2 finals didn't prove anything about how great of a player Kevin Durant is. But you guys in the comment section, y'all let me know your opinion. What do you think Kevin Durant's legacy will be, and how do you think it will be affected by this NBA Finals series? Also, you guys, make sure you hit the bell after you subscribe to this channel down below, and make sure you follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. Social media links are down below in the description box. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Y'all have a great day. Peace.